Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome to everyone for being here. We appreciate you coming to our monthly meeting. Staff, it's good to see you back there in the back row. I would like to add something to the agenda it's not on here under new business. As you all know, Lauren Emmert has resigned her chairman position. So I would like to add election of a chair to the agenda under new business. Our bylaws state that we can either have a called meeting or at the first meeting after a vacancy. So I figured since we found this out last week, that we would go ahead and just put it on this agenda and not have to have a called meeting. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And discussion. I think we have a couple of corrections that Liz sent from that.
Yes. In the minutes, I had put that Liz Schreck had attended the November meeting. She did not. It was Nikki Snyder. So I need to change her name. And then I'm not sure exactly what the wording was, but she presented the standard survey. I believe that's correct.
Yes, standard survey analysis.
Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Any other corrections to the minutes? Anyone notice? Okay, we have a first and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Let's see, we don't have our representatives here from Foundation. Okay. Yes, but we won't introduce each one. We do not have anyone who signed up for public comments. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment about something that's on the agenda that you did not sign up for? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you. Under the trustee chair report, I have 2 or 3 things to mention. First of all, I want to introduce our new board member. Some of you met him earlier or last week when we had a session with David Benjamin, but Robert White. We want to welcome Robert to our board. Robert, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I've lived in Maryville my entire life, went to UT and Heritage High School. Worked in the technology sector and enjoy being a Blount County native.
Well, we're very glad to have you and appreciate your service and agreeing to serve with us. So thank you. You all have the trustee information sheet at your disposal there. At the end of June, my term, Lauren's term are both up. We both served 6 years. And that's what the 2 3-year terms is what we can serve. So we will be looking for some people to replace those 2 positions. And those are both Blount County appointments. So the commission obviously will have to approve those as well as the mayor. And they also have the authority, if we submit some names, they also have the authority to submit their own names. So they just like for us to submit replacements when we can. So if you all have anyone that you think might be interested in serving on the board for a 3-year term starting July 1 of this year, think about that. This is the form that we use just to get basic information, and then we ask for a resume from them as well. So we would like to have someone to some names to submit by at least by the 1st of March, if possible. So that gives you a month and a half to recruit someone or see if there's some some people that you have, that might be interested.
Blount County.
This is Blount County, and then we have, I think your term is up, Maryville City, but you've got, hopefully will get reappointed for a three-year term, and Sean is thinking about it.
Depending upon whether or not the person that I have in mind for another Blount County position decides as well. So
Thank you. All right. So if you would just kind of look for some people to help us here. An update on the director search. The search committee has been meeting. We have additional, besides the 4 board members that are serving on this committee, Judge David Dugan, Jesus Ortego Valenzuela, and Anna Graham, who's the dean at Mississippi State, are also serving on the search committee. We did post the job, and the deadline to apply was January the 11th. We have 25 applicants. 10 of those, we eliminated 10 of those because in some form or fashion, they did not meet the requirements of having a master's degree in library science or 7 years of administrative experience. So we still have 15 applicants who do meet those qualifications. The committee is presently going through those resumes, cover letters, and references, and we will be meeting on January the 30th at 4:30 to discuss each of those applicants. Our plan is to interview 6 to 8 by Zoom, and the dates for that is February 12th and 13th. So that will be an open meeting. Anyone is welcome to attend as we interview these applicants. The search committee, after interviewing those applicants, will have a discussion and probably narrow it down to 3 to 4 applicants that we will invite to Blount County. The dates when those applicants will be it will be March 12th and 13th. You, at your table there, you have a draft, and I want to emphasize that this is really a draft schedule for March 12th and 13th. And you can look at that draft and see that the staff will have an opportunity, an hour with each of the candidates to ask questions and get information from the candidates. During that time, if it happens to be right now we've got it on that first day on March 12th in the morning, we will be coming back to you in the next month and asking for the library to be closed during that time so each staff member can participate in those interviews. Now, again, I say this is draft because the search committee will be discussing this at the January 30th meeting and deciding on all of that. So in addition to an open forum with the staff, with each applicant, they will be meeting, the applicants will be meeting with friends and the foundation. We will also have a lunch for government officials, as well as all of you will be invited. The search committee will be invited, the director of schools, and some different people. And you can read through this and read a lot of this information that I'm talking about. And it will be, that will be on the first day. The second day right now in the morning is when we have scheduled for the board to interview the applicants. And again, this is all open to the public. So anyone can attend while we interview. Now, what the board needs to decide or to be thinking about, we don't have to decide today, just be thinking about it, is do we want, after we have the discussion, the interviews, discussion, do we want to go ahead and have a board meeting that afternoon on March the 13th? Or we have our regularly scheduled meeting is the following week on Tuesday. So if we want to discuss at that time and narrow it down to one candidate and maybe an alternate in case that person does not want it, or Tuesday of our regular board meeting, have that discussion. So just be thinking about that, and we may even play it by ear. We may decide after we've interviewed those candidates, we're not ready to make a decision and we want to postpone it until the next week or have a special call meeting. So we're flexible with this.
These 2 dates have to be spring break.
Yes,
Okay.
we know. Yeah, okay. We know that. So,
Some people may return.
yeah, so you all think about that and we'll discuss this at next month's meeting to finalize those plans. But I did want to give you this information so you could at least put this on your calendar as tentative information. We have also sent out a survey to various groups, to library staff, friends, foundation, government officials, the Chamber of Commerce, to schools and their representatives, and Summer will be working on compiling that information from the survey to have for the search committee. We may not have it next week for the search committee, but we'll have it very soon after our meeting next week. So that'll give you some time to look through that survey data before we meet to interview the candidates. Let's see, where else are we? You got those dates. I think that's it on search committee. We have implemented the new inclement weather policy. Unfortunately, we've had to do that. Anjanae has done an excellent job communicating with the county officials and those who we need to communicate with. So thank you, Anjanae, for staying up late and getting up early and doing all those fun things that you have to do when you call for snow, bad weather. So let's see. Some of you were able to attend the David Benjamuri presentation on space planning and his evaluation. So it was very interesting. And for those of you that were not able to attend, sometime in the future, we hope we'll have that video available for you to view. But thank you all that were able to attend in some way. So
If I may, there's a question that's been kind of dogging me since we were there on Tuesday. And it may be something, of course, with having people there from the Friends and the Foundation as well as from the board. And this may be better suited for folks that are working here at the library. What are the implementation steps for some of the things that he suggested? And is it, because that's the thing that there were a lot of, in his audit, he made a lot of recommendations. And while they are good, I think they're very good recommendations. My fear is that the implementation may be slow and forthcoming.
So go ahead, yes.
So what is it, right after that presentation ended, there was a previous conversation to that with some
Yes.
board members and with library leadership at that time. And there were a few elements that David was supposed to include in that
Okay.
report, and they weren't included. So we're, this week I'm reaching out to him. We're gonna finalize it. He has recommendations that are short-term and long-term goals. And once we get the actual finalized report, that first presentation was information only to let us hear it. And then there will be, and I think it'll be better suited once we have leadership on board. There'll be a time for us to review it, and then we'll start. This is kind of like our first step towards getting and finalizing strategic plans and moving towards. So it is, yeah, we're not nothing has to be decided tomorrow. These are guidelines
Sure.
with, yeah.
Well, and that's, I mean, and I'm glad to hear that because not having been privy to the conversations that happened before, there was, it was one of these, this was kind of like a dose of cold water being thrown. I was like, particularly we have these things that I find to be problematic. And so that's the where I'm coming from there. Not to say that everything that he said wasn't correct, because I do think that they made good points.
I think initially someone would have to decide a priority list to say, we've got to do this, that can wait, this has to be done now. I think that'll be the next.
And that makes good sense too, because I know that a lot of the places that he mentioned, I think, have the ability to, particularly the ones that were in the state of Illinois, have the ability to do those things just like that. And that's, I think we have to look at what we've got and what we are able to do and what our priorities are.
Things like the elevator could probably be $2 million. So
Yeah.
you have to.
That's, I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly the big I had in mind too.
What you want to do, so some of that stuff's not in our lifetime.
Right.
But, you know, fixing shelves and doing
Yeah.
that labeling, that's easy.
Exactly. One of it is if there's gonna be the short time, that could be discovery aids and things like that, the shelf labeling. And then it could be all the way up to, as our new leadership starts to form a strategic plan, taking some of that information from that report and fine tuning it to what they're finding to be the case.
And this all fits into the master plan for the building,
Mhm.
which we're trying to get to, so we can give it to the foundation, so they
Okay.
can go out and start raising.
And that's
funds.
what that was the other thing that I did wonder about is how, and I know this will be streamlined as time goes on, about who takes on which role and kind of where everything falls in from there. So good, thank you all for
Yeah.
making it clear for me.
Okay, I think that's all the report. No, there is one other thing. Anjanae, you want to just talk about the actuarial study, not in detail. I don't know if you all remember, and with a new board member, the county was conducting an actuarial study of sick leave and other benefits for our staff, trying to look at what the county staff is receiving as opposed to the library staff is receiving, just to make some continuity. We've been on different paths for a long time, so we're trying to be a little more consistent between our staff and the county government staff. So they were gonna have to do an actuarial study, and they were in the process of gathering all that data, and I think we'll have that maybe ready by next month to talk about, we hope.
We're thinking, so what is it, the study has been completed as far as I know. We have received a draft resolution from TCRS and another document, I'll say, and we're waiting for one more. And then I'm gonna meet with someone and they're gonna explain to me what all these documents mean so that I can share that with you. So right now, the main thing is to know that that initiative is moving forward. We have received some of the information, but not all of it. And once I get it, I will either be coming around and making appointments with you all to talk to you about it and explain it so that you can ask me questions and I can answer them. And then we'll move on from that, so.
And it has to do with like sick leave, and can you accumulate sick leave, or how many days you can accumulate? Does that go toward your retirement? Those,
Yes.
yes, same principle, those kind of things, yeah.
On a leg of the point, I'm just curious though how that separated, given that they're all county employees, how did the entitlement policies come to differ? That's just a boggling.
When this library was built, or when the three governments formed a partnership, if I remember correctly, they were more under the Maryville City's authority. And through the years, it's moved more toward Blount County, I think. And I don't know all the details because it's been, 25 years or however.
And that was
So-
well and truly before that. The first interlocal
before.
agreement was from the 67, I think, so.
It's,
So
that's,
it's just a legacy HR policy.
That's
entitlement
carrying on.
policy.
and some things that we didn't even realize were going on until one of the staff
The staff
members
staff
said,
member called.
why is it like this with the government and this for us? So we're trying to get some consistency in some of those benefits and things like
Is
that.
the study gonna show the budgetary implications as well, then?
I can ask for it.
And there will be some financial,
Yeah.
things that, and that's part of this, that is part of the study is how much is this gonna cost? Okay, Renee, I think we're ready for you.
All righty. Well, it has been a busy time here at the library, but it always is. And our youth services department is where we'll start. They're doing incredible things. It's always fun to just walk through that department and see all the things they're getting up to. In the report, you'll see that our very own Miss Anna Uptain has been going out to our local Head Start and doing some story times with that. That's part of our outreach. Back in December, we had Santa come along with the Grinch, and that was a well-attended program. It was probably, of all the years I've been here, I've seen it where it was 800 people, intense. And even Santa's like, oh, wow, my arms are about to give out, to a very, very small COVID crowd Christmas, to this one was perfection. It was well attended. There was a nice movement, a lot of babies crying, there was a beautiful little girl who was all in her red Christmas outfit about this high. She would not get any closer than probably 30 yards from Santa, but she would blow him kisses. So it was delightful. It was a good day. The Heritage High Madrigal singers, I'm not sure I'm saying that word right, came and they are just fabulous. And that's when you really get to enjoy the acoustics of this building. It was phenomenal. So that was a very special night. Then we had our Noondays Eve, and that was well attended. Then we're all getting ready for World on the Move. The World on the Move is a traveling exhibit in partnership with the American Library Association and the American Anthropological Association. And of course, our library is going to be over 1,000 square feet, and it just talks about migration on a global scale. We'll have that for the community to explore and discover from throughout the month of February 3rd through the 28th. And all the majority of our programming will be kind of themed and tuned towards exploring those topics of migration. And so we're very excited about having it. I hope that you all take a moment and come check it out. And those of you who are educators, if you want to bring out your students, please do. Let's see, what is it? And that's going to be, we're going to have children's and adults programming for that World on the Move program. What is it? Some fun things for adult programming. We saw 87 attendees attend the yoga programs in the month of December. What is it? We had our Holly Jolly Jubilee concert series, and they were well attended with, I think the biggest concert was actually the Knoxville Opera with 160 attendees. So, let's see, WBIR came out and interviewed our very own AJ Rowe after they saw our Facebook post of our History Mystery Monday about our letters to Santa. And although we really tried to encourage AJ to wear Victorian garb and his cravat, which was given to him for his birthday. He wouldn't do it. I told him I'd call him Viscount and everything, but he didn't go for it. So, what is it? We have a very exciting, this is gonna be a crossover program. It's our Southern Appalachian series and our World on the Move program called Unwritten History, Stories My Grandmother Told Me. And that's about the Cherokee peoples and their oral traditions. So I hope you guys will check that out. And that'll be February 3rd at 6 p.m. And what is it? We'll have a new newsletter coming out here in early February. So please check that out. It'll probably be going to print that last week of January. Okay. Our Focus on Seniors program, so start back up with its first program coming back on February 19th. And it's Aging with the Arts. So we'll focus on how music, art, and dance can help us thrive mentally and emotionally at every age. So consider checking that out. As far as collections goes, we have just finished our final round of orders through the Ocoee River regional funds, and that awarded us $8,962. So, and that's state and federal funding. And basically those funds help us make sure we've got materials for what they called underserved populations. So our large print books, our children's books, our teen materials, to make sure that every population has something good to read. A shout out to our volunteers that do our book repairs and our clean our DVDs. They're the silent, steady workers that make sure our materials live a little bit longer. So we want to say thank you to them. In our patron services, they went out to the Johnson City Public Library and got a tour of their automatic material handler. And we'll be getting an update on that shortly. As for our PR team, I'm happy to say that we have our public relations coordinator position has been filled by Miss Sarah Smith. And I wanted to say thank you to Ms. Zoe Ballou. She is our online services coordinator, and she's been holding the fort, making sure that our public relations machine keeps going while that position has been being filled. In the next newsletter, you will also see that the community message, usually there's a letter from the director. This next letter will be a letter from the board, and it will just be talking to the community about the director's search, the AMH, and actually I think that's it. Yeah. If you'd like to see it before, then please swing by the office. As for any questions on the director's report? Okay. Now we'll be moving on to the financial report with the budget. We are tracking very well. What is it? We're all below our percentages for what we project. We should be around 50%, and we are below that or under. We are over that if we're looking at our revenues, and that is mainly because right now our return on investment for our interest is accumulating quickly. That's probably the variable that's kicking that all higher than normal. Any question on the financials?
Not tonight, I have you, but I'll give it, yeah, you don't mind.
That sounds great. Yeah. And I'd like to encourage all of you, when you get the financials, I do love the questions. If you would like to email me at the bcpl.director, that'll give me time to see your answer and find the answer for it, and I can share it at the board meeting. So we're all on the same page. Okay. The only other thing I want to share is that the last update that we got on the book return construction was that, and it was probably a week ago. I just need all the staff ones, yeah, okay. What is it, the construction project is traveling well, it is on schedule as far as we know, they have had some inclement weather days. In the next week or two, we should expect the pavement to be poured. We don't have a finalized date when they're thinking the project will be done. However, Rebecca Melvin and I did meet with the Biblioteca crew, which is the vendor who makes the automated material handler. We met with them today via Microsoft, Zoom, the Zoom of course. We have a loose outline of what to expect when the piece of machinery will be packed up, and basically they're going to be on site. They're going to help us unpack it. They're going to be here basically for those 2 or 3 days to get it really well set up, and then we'll go from there. So Rebecca and I are feeling very good about it and excited. And as we have dates and times, I'll be sharing those. I think that's it.
And we have a sign. Have you seen the book return sign? The book return.
Yes.
Out there. Be sure to look. It's not on a piece of paper. All right, let's see. Travis is not here. Travis is our new foundation president. I met with Anjanae and I met Friday with the foundation. And I'm sorry he's not here to introduce himself, but we'll be sure he can introduce himself next month. We're really excited about him. I'm sure a lot of you may know him anyway, because he has been involved in a lot of different boards and volunteer opportunities. Also, Vandy is not here, but she had surgery earlier in the week, so I'm sure she's indisposed as well. Liz, you're up for your report.
Hello. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, it's good to be with you all. I have submitted the January report as well as the regional vehicle audiobook download system statistics, of course, prior to the meeting. So those are in your packets. As always, we have kicked off this new year with training opportunities for our staff, directors, and trustees if they're interested as well. We ended creating a culture of library leadership, which was a virtual series with Holly Jackson that we presented this month. That was a virtual series of 3 meetings and programs for folks to receive 6 of their contact education hours through us. I will be hosting a workshop for our libraries on E-rate, which is a federal reimbursement plan for public libraries. Schools and libraries can receive reimbursements on their telecommunications costs. Additionally, we will have a tri-regional. We're joining with 2 other regional offices to present a disaster planning and response workshop that will be held at the Art Circle Public Library in Crossville. And we are having the Northeast Document Conservation Center come. And so we're very glad to get their experts to come down and talk to our folks about disaster planning for public libraries and response. Just another announcement, sort of going hand in hand with a little bit on the bottom of the first page and the third column. We've kicked off this new year, of course. And so just reminding folks, trustees can work on all of their certification program modules. If you're new to the board and you all have several new folks and you would like to be registered to take those certification program modules, if you would like for me to register you, just let me know and I can do that. Several folks are pretty brand new. So that is a good program for our board members to take. We call you trustees. You've been entrusted to be the governing board for the public library. And so that's a series of 10 different modules that cover various aspects of things that will come before you as a board member. Finance, advocacy, policy making. And so we have put those together to help you all. And it's 10 different modules that are core modules. And the completion of those modules helps the library when they apply for the state technology grant, which is a 50-50 matching grant. So we like to try to encourage full 100% completion. And I know you have had several new folks come in, so we can work with you all to hit the ground running. And I know we've talked about doing some orientations as well. So I look forward to doing that with all the new folks. You all are reviewing your budget, of course. We're also reminding boards to look at standards as they continue to focus on strategic and long-term planning. The state standards that don't correspond with state law are not requirements, but they are best practice. And I know Nikki provided you all with the standards analysis report every July. Library directors in our region and across the state complete a standards survey. And so we put all those results together and provide our library boards and directors with an analysis about standards that they're meeting and standards they may want to focus on. Let's see what else. Our tech grant spending ends April 30th. So that invoices are turned into Nikki. She's the tech grant monitor. And aside from that, I think that's really all I've got.
Anybody have any questions for Liz?
I do want to share that the technology grant that Liz mentioned is something that the library goes for every year. And that's one of the grants that helps us keep our technology up to date so that you guys see why it's so important for us.
Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome. And I'm happy to, if you don't remember if you're registered or you don't know how to access the modules, or if you have any questions at all about that, just please let me know. I'll be happy to register you and cut that part out for you. I'll do it for you so it makes it easier and we can get you started on those. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. And I would recommend that all of you start those if you've not had a chance to do that. I take about 30 minutes, I think, each lesson, and they're okay. One of the tricks is to take the test first, see how well you do. I mean, it's like a pre-test, post-test. Take the test first, see how you do. But be sure to go through the information because there's a lot of information in there that's very helpful.
I didn't see where he gave you that option. Take the test.
I did, but that's been how many years ago?
Yeah.
It just said start modules, let's start the modules.
I think you have to go through the modules and then you can take the quiz.
Yeah.
But I also will offer this. If you would like to do it as a group, I know schedules, it's difficult to do that, but if you ever do want to do it all in one fell swoop, I'm happy, or Nikki is happy to come. We will come to the library and sit with you and discuss those things. And I find that quite useful sometimes. So you all just let me know what you prefer and I'll try to facilitate it, make it as easy as possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Anyway. All right, let's move on. Old business. Community board display and digital signage policy. Do I have a motion? This is the second look that we have had at this. It seems like it's been forever since we had a meeting. We didn't meet in December, so in the November meeting, this was presented to us and we discussed it. So do I have a motion that we approve this policy?
Motion.
So do I have a second? Is there any discussion or corrections to that policy? We talked about that quite a bit in the November meeting. Okay, with no corrections, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, policy is approved. The second policy, local history and genealogy collection, development and weeding materials policy. Again, this was on the November agenda. Do I have a motion to approve this policy?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion or corrections? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. New business. We have a request for the Friends of Youth Services tween room conversion. On Janae, if you would talk to us about that.
Okay, what's up? All right, so, you know, all our staff are amazing. And sometimes they're even ahead of the game, you know, so the space audit introduced us to start thinking about using library spaces to create little neighborhoods, if you will. And you guys probably heard that in last week's presentation. Well, Youth Services was on it before the presentation. Basically, we have a teen room, but we don't have a space for the tweens. Well, the Youth Services staff have decided that they don't need a quote unquote office, so they would like to convert it to a tween room. Now, it is a space that will just give tweens a place that is theirs. It is a standard office size, so probably not more than 6 people max in it. But it will give them a place to meet and talk and connect. And so what you'll see in this request is some of the items that they want. And basically they want to make it appealing to them. They want to make it bright and inviting. And they want to have games and gaming that's available to the tweens. But they are buying that sign right there. Yeah, that is one of the things. And I was worried because I thought it was neon. It's not. It's LED. Because I was like, okay. And so we have an area because tweens are younger. It's not really good to have them, like their parents need to kind of still be around them. So it's not like we can just take them and move them over to the teen space. It is a different group developmentally. And so, I am biased, but I think that this is a wonderful first step that is affordable and achievable and can excite all of our staff about exploring the little possibilities. So.
And it's close and able to monitor. They're right
Exactly,
there, so
they are right
it's-
there.
Yeah, it's a good location. So,
Any questions?
and we're gonna submit this to the Friends for funding.
So the way this would work is you would look at this, and if you like what you see, you would approve it. And then what that means is next week, we will take this to the Friends Board. They will see that it's got the support of the library board, and then they will decide if, yes, it's something they want to fund. They just basically want to know that you guys are aware of it and that you support it. So.
I have any questions for Anjanae or staff?
The only question that I would have, and it's more on a space, kind of space concern things. Is the space going to be large enough to be able to handle the number of kids in that 8 to 12, 9 to 12 age range? Or are we gonna have to do some, groups that have to sign up, things like that?
So it is not a programming space.
Okay.
It is a space so that, and it cannot safely have more than 6 people.
Okay.
Now, in saying that,
it creates a space for them that they don't currently have. Right now, if they want to be in the library, they've got to be in the teens, or they've got to, and their parents have to be with them, or they have to be in the children's. This means they can come here, and if they just want to read for 20 minutes, it's not a programming space really. And we do have usually tweens that come in groups of 2s or 3s, and this would be ideal for them. But it's not a programming space.
And the good thing about most of this is in the future, if they're moved to a different location, if there is actually a space one, this can all go with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So then I guess programming was the question I had, because I know from experience previously that, you know, sometimes you get a gang of, I hate to say gang, a group of, you know, six or eight kids that are that age, and so.
It's not really a programming space. It is like what we do. So if you've been in our children's area, you'll see that there's each little divot kind of has, like, we've got our Steve's Cafe, and then we've got our like our puppet center, and then we've got quiet chairs near the Mama Va. None of that, they've got nothing for this age group where they've got a little nook that is theirs to just kind of hang out. Yeah.
any other questions or comments?
The space would just be, would you have? Do you think your parents would be in there with them, or just
No.
open with windows?
It is,
and they
it is,
can
so,
observe?
thank you. So this is an office space that's got a glass wall that you can see through, so. Yeah.
And it's the opposite, looks out as you're from the back wall, and it's the one that's facing, the windows face towards the glass windows looking out.
Yes, yes. As you
Right.
walk by the large service desk that's in our youth services department, it kind of ends at the glass wall of that quote unquote, hopefully teen room or tween rooms / office space. And so staff will always be able to quickly see in. There's no hidden corners or anything like that. It's open, well lit, safe. It's appropriate for the age group.
I was more worried about adults being in a space that we can designate for kids, and they go, yeah, I'm not going in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, do I have a motion from anyone to approve this funding request to the Friends?
Also, so move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's be exciting. Okay, now the additional item on the agenda is to elect a chair. Anybody want to volunteer? I'm asking for volunteer. Does anybody have somebody that they want to nominate? I'll be glad.
I'll name Greg.
Be the chair?
Sure. I want to raise.
Any other nominations?
I move nomination cease.
All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations, Greg.
Make my inaugural speech.
Yeah, please do it. All right. You want to take over?
Let's see.
We got it.
We got left. We got important dates down here. Important dates for. You need to announce those or people read. Let's see, we've got Blount County Commission meeting February 20th, 6:30 at the courthouse. Blount Courthouse. Friends of the Library meets January 28th at 4 o'clock. Foundation meets February 21st at 8 a.m. Here. Maryville City Council meets February 4th at 7 p.m. at the municipal building. Board of Commissioners meets February 11th, 7 o'clock at the Alcoa Municipal Building. Next library board meeting is February 18th, 5:30 in this location. Be there for this one. Any additional comments, complaints, concerns? Declare the meeting adjourned.
So vote. Yes, anybody opposed?
That's the way to take it.